9 huge Emmerdale spoilers for next week. Hey Emmerdale fans, buckle up because next week's episodes are going to be a wild ride. From June 10 to 14, our beloved village is set to be rocked by a series of shocking events that will leave you gasping for breath. Whether you're a longtime viewer or a newbie, you won't want to miss what's coming up. In this video, we're breaking down the 9 biggest spoilers that are set to shake things up. Belle's world is turned upside down with a major revelation. Ethan's funeral brings the village together in mourning, and sparks fly as Vinny and Gabby grow closer. Stay tuned as we delve into all the drama, surprises, and emotional moments that await in Emmerdale next week. Point 1. Belle discovers that she's pregnant. Belle worries when she finds out that she's pregnant, unsure whether starting a family with Tom is the right thing to do after his abusive behavior. Needing to hide her pregnancy symptoms, Belle pretends to be ill in front of Tom and Mandy. She later heads to the GP surgery and speaks to Wendy, but she feels apprehensive about her options. 2. Tom threatens more violence. Tom is annoyed when Kane questions why he sold Belle's car without speaking to him about it first. Tom blames Belle for Kane's attitude and accuses her of bad-mouthing him. As Tom sternly quizzes Belle about what she said, he raises his hand and threatens to hurt her again. Belle is terrified and blurts out that she's pregnant. Tom's demeanor immediately changes as he celebrates the news and promises to be a better husband from now on, but Belle isn't sure whether to believe him. 3. Belle struggles as Tom shares the news. Belle decides that it's best to keep the news of her pregnancy a secret for now, wanting some time to process everything before the whole village finds out. She confides in Tom, asking him to respect her wishes and keep the information between them for the moment. But Tom, feeling overwhelmed and perhaps seeking advice, ends up spilling the beans to Rona. As these things go in Emmerdale, it doesn't take long for the news to travel, and soon enough Jimmy also knows. Belle is understandably upset that Tom couldn't keep her trust and respect her request for privacy. She confronts him about it, feeling let down and frustrated. Tom, however, manages to talk her around, explaining his reasons and reassuring her about their situation. He convinces her that since the secret is already out among a few, they might as well share the news with the rest of their family and friends. Reluctantly, Belle agrees, deciding it's time to embrace the situation fully and move forward together. 4. There's danger at home for Belle. Tom has been acting more and more controlling lately, locking Belle in the house whenever he goes out. One afternoon, Belle decides to cook some food on the hob before heading off for a nap with Piper, her loyal dog. Exhausted, she drifts off into a deep sleep, completely unaware of the potential danger brewing in the kitchen. While Belle sleeps soundly, a tea towel left too close to the hob begins to singe and smolder, creating a serious fire hazard. The risk of a fire breaking out looms large, and with Belle locked inside and fast asleep, the situation could turn deadly. The question is, will she wake up in time to save herself and Piper from what could become a terrifying ordeal? 5. Vinny and Gabby kiss Vinny, and Gabby have been spending a lot of time together lately, and their chemistry is undeniable. One evening, things heat up and they end up sharing a kiss. It's a sweet moment that hints at something more between them. But just as Vinny starts to feel the spark, Gabby mentions his inexperience, pointing out that he's still a virgin. Vinny's face turns red with embarrassment. He wasn't ready for that level of honesty and feels exposed. Gabby, trying to lighten the mood, suggests that maybe they could change that. Her casual attitude towards it only makes Vinny more nervous. The whole situation feels like it's moving too fast for him, and he starts to panic. In his nervousness, Vinny decides to call things off with Gabby. He likes her a lot, but he's just not ready to take that step yet. He needs more time to feel comfortable and confident. Gabby is disappointed but understanding, and Vinny hopes they can still be friends despite this awkward bump in the road. 6. Ruby supports Manpreet and Charles. Manpreet confides in Ruby about how her relationship with Charles has been affected by Ethan's death. Ruby tries to be supportive, still hiding her guilt over Ethan's hit-and-run incident. Ruby takes some time to reflect in the church and Charles approaches her. She reaches out for his hand and is relieved when Charles moves past their previous tension, allowing her to comfort him. Manpreet pours her heart out to Ruby, sharing how much strain Ethan's death has put on her relationship with Charles. She talks about how different Charles has been since the tragedy, how distant and closed off he's become. Ruby, despite the heavy burden of her own guilt, listens intently, nodding and offering comforting words. Inside, she's struggling with the secret she's carrying, the guilt eating away at her, but she tries her best to be there for Manpreet. Later, Ruby finds herself in the quiet of the church, seeking solace and a moment to gather her thoughts. The silence is almost deafening, and it gives her a moment to reflect on everything that's happened. She feels the weight of her actions bearing down on her, and she can't shake the feeling of remorse. As she's lost in her thoughts, she hears footsteps approaching and turns to see Charles standing there. For a moment, there's an awkward silence between them, the tension from past encounters still lingering in the air. Charles takes a deep breath and sits next to Ruby. She reaches out, hesitantly at first, and takes his hand in hers. The touch is simple, but powerful. Ruby feels a rush of relief when Charles doesn't pull away. Instead, he squeezes her hand lightly, a sign that he's willing to let go of some of the hurt and anger he's been holding on to. They sit there in the quiet, finding a small piece of comfort in each other's presence, both silently acknowledging the pain and the need to heal. 7. Ethan's cause of death is revealed. Ruby realizes that she can't cope with her ongoing guilt over Ethan's death. She also worries about the implications for her relationship with her son Nicky, who knows what she's hiding and strongly disapproves. Ruby vows to hand herself in to the police, but Caleb begs her not to. She refuses to listen and heads off to see Charles at Woodbine Cottage. Charles explains that a cause of death for Ethan has been shared by the coroner. Will this confirm Ruby's worst fears? 8. Ethan's funeral day arrives. Ethan's funeral is a heavy day for everyone, with the local church filled with mourners. Charles, standing at the front, tries his best to hold it together as he leads the service for his son. The weight of the moment bears down on him, making it nearly impossible to find the right words. His voice trembles and he struggles to keep his composure, the grief and pressure overwhelming him. It's clear he's hurting deeply, and those who came to support him can see the pain etched on his face. After the service, Charles finds himself at the Woolpack, seeking solace in the bottom of a glass. As the evening goes on, he drinks more than he should, his sorrow turning into a mix of anger and frustration. Manpreet, concerned for him, tries to offer her support, but Charles, lost in his grief and intoxicated state, lashes out. The pain and alcohol fuel his harsh words, and he ends up telling Manpreet to leave, his need to push everyone away, overtaking his need for comfort. Manpreet, hurt and bewildered, reluctantly leaves the pub, her heart heavy with concern for Charles. She understands that his words were driven by his pain, but it doesn't make them any less hurtful. Watching the man she loves crumble under the weight of their loss is heartbreaking, and she's left feeling helpless, unsure of how to reach him in his darkest moments. 9. Ella's story continues. The dark story exploring Ella's past continues as Liam struggles to process the revelations that she's a killer. Liam feels torn, as he'd genuinely fallen for Ella before he knew the truth. What does the future hold for them? As more details about Ella's dark past come to light, Liam finds himself in a whirlwind of emotions. He's caught between the woman he thought he knew and the chilling truths he's now grappling with. Every memory of their time together feels tainted, and he can't help but question everything. Liam feels a deep sense of betrayal, his mind racing with questions and doubts. But there's also the lingering feelings he still has for her, making the situation even more complicated. Liam's internal conflict grows stronger each day. He remembers the moments they shared, the laughter, and the connection he felt with Ella. It's hard to reconcile those memories with the revelation that she's a killer. His heart aches as he tries to understand how someone he loved could be capable of such darkness. He's torn between his feelings for her and the fear and distrust that now cloud his mind. The people around him offer advice, but ultimately, Liam knows he has to make this decision on his own. Looking ahead, the future of Liam and Ella's relationship is uncertain. Liam is at a crossroads, unsure if he can ever look past Ella's past, or if he even should. The love he feels is real, but so is the fear and doubt. He wonders if they can ever rebuild trust, or if it's too late. As he contemplates his next steps, Liam is faced with one of the toughest choices of his life: to walk away from the woman he once loved or to try and navigate a future shadowed by the darkness of her past.